Now let's go to one of the most significant rounds of job cutting seen in Australia in recent years. The ANZ today said it will cut 3,500 of its 43,000 staff, plus another 1,000 contractors. Oddly, ANZ is the smallest of our big four banks, but had a bigger headcount than its larger peers, NAB and Westpac. This is the first major initiative of its chief executive, Nuno Matos, who replaced ex-CEO Shayne Elliott in May this year.
Obviously, this is a difficult announcement. The first thing I would like to say for our employees, for the employees impacted and their families, very difficult decision. Is one that you don't like to take. Is one that we recognize is challenging news for employees and families. But the reason we are doing this has to do with the fact that we need to get the basic things right. And this is about basically two things. One, avoiding duplication and complexity in organization. And on the other thing is to stop doing initiatives and projects that are not aligned with our priorities.
Now, Matos was pressed on this issue and in what is clearly a slap to the strategy of the former chief executive, Shayne Elliott, he all but said the bank was bloated with cost staffs and initiatives that did not work.
This is not about profit. This is about getting the things right, the basic things a bank needs to do right. This is about, again, avoiding duplication and complexity, which is very important in a company that needs to simplify its operation, to improve its risk management, and at the same time to stop initiatives that don't fit with our strategy.
Normally when companies cut costs like this, the shares go up, but the market reacted negatively today. You can see here the ANZ closed down by 0.2%. In the past year, ANZ shares are ahead just 3.2%. That's comparing with the Commonwealth, which is up 15.3%, 15.7%. You can see also that Westpac is up 17.3% and the NAB up just under 10%. Well, a little earlier, I got the banking analyst from Morningstar, Nathan Zaya, to explain it to me.
I think announcing that you're going to rip costs out, I think that's the easy part. But how you're going to compete with your peers going forward, I think that is where the risk lies. So there's no doubt ANZ had to get more efficient and it has to demonstrate it that it can. But at the same time, it needs its digital offering to be competitive. It needs to be competitive in the broker channel. It can't keep relying on cashbacks and discounting for growth. So that's where, I guess, the bit of the challenge or the dilemma is for ANZ. You need to pull costs out, but you also need to make sure that you're not only competitive now, but into the future as well. So we've got peers investing heavily in technology and using AI to become more productive. So, you know, that's going to be an ongoing investment from ANZ while it's doing this as well.
So is this an indictment of the term of Shayne Elliott, the former chief executive? Because right now Nuno Matos is saying he wants a simpler bank, he wants duplication stopped, and he wants priorities to really be sort of very clear at the bank and to have any peripheral stuff out the door. That's the justification for sacking these people. But does that really go back to the previous management and say their strategy was wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't got the full strategic plan outlined to us yet, but what we do know, ANZ was investing heavily in what they called ANZ Plus. So they had their classic, the old banking platform, building a new one, ANZ Plus, then you got Suncorp. So the old management team's idea was we'll build this new digital one and we'll get them all on there. But in the interim, you have a really bloated cost base. You know, you're investing across multiple platforms, a lot of duplication. So I think the end game of the old management team was you end up with one really efficient platform, whereas now I think it's a matter of, you know, we've invested a lot in this platform. It still has a lot of holes functionality-wise. Maybe it's time to just pull it and regroup. And I think that is probably what is happening here. So it's a bit of a different path to getting to that lower cost base. So yeah, we're not, who knows whether the old way would have worked or not, but I think it's a good thing for shareholders that new people have come in, not emotionally attached to this and, you know, make a call.
So Nathan, just explain one thing. Why is it that the Commonwealth Bank appears to have been able to get those new platforms and put them in place? And it's obviously seen success with its share price as well, whereas ANZ has not got there. What happened?
Yeah, that's a real difficult one for me to answer, I guess. I don't know if it's come down to execution or just the way the programs were structured. Another thing, like ANZ's been heavily reliant on consultants in its tech division. Again, it doesn't seem to have paid off having those external consultants in there. Yeah, I mean, we're facing higher and higher operating costs, and we're yet to really see any evidence that this platform is nearly complete or approaching a point where you will get those productivity and efficiency savings, which it has been heralded to do. So it's always difficult to assess, I guess. But even Westpac has been in a bit of a similar situation with all these multiple systems, and I guess unweaving all the mess with all the systems can be a challenge. And I guess CBA executed much better.
So just an interesting one for you. The ANZ is the fourth largest of our big four, fourth smallest of our big four banks. It's the smallest. Does this make the bank vulnerable? The fact that it's having to try and simplify and find a new way. We know that there could be external banks, overseas banks. Does it actually potentially make the ANZ vulnerable?
No, I don't think so. I think, they still do have, scale. They are still fairly large. They do have deposit funding, which helps as well. Like, I think that their cost to income ratio has just gotten to a point where they're just not competitive with its peers. So I think it needs to be doing what its peers can do on a similar or slightly bigger cost base, not a much more bloated cost base. Like if you compare the cost to income ratio in their Australian retail division, it's like 60-odd%. In New Zealand, it's closer to, I think it might be even 39, so even under 40%. So there's a big gap. And I think a lot of that is because of where they were investing. So just pulling that and redirecting that focus, again, provided that they can get to an end state and be competitive, I think that's where there is a real opportunity to lift profitability without it having an impact on their market share, for example, by having to price more aggressive, increase pricing and that sort of thing.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Zaia, always good to get you on the program, get your insight. Many thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Russ.